Hello and welcome back to Tools for Sparks, where today we are reviewing the Brother E550 label printer. Let's get it open. So what do we have here? This is obviously the label printer itself. We've got a couple of cartridges in there. So we've got 24mm yellow and 12mm white. A little bit of cardboard. Got a charging cable, a USB cable, a battery, which I'm happy to see, and some instructions and bits and pieces. And then they've also sent us some of this Brother heat shrink tube. We've got the 9mm yellow, black on yellow text, and we've got the 9mm black on white text. Now this stuff is really cool, so I'll show you that in a bit. But first, let's get all of these bits and pieces unpackaged. So to open the case, just press the button in the top and flick it open. Then in here, we're going to put our battery pack. Obviously you can use AA alkaline batteries, but it needs 6 of them, I think. So much better to use the rechargeable battery pack. Clicks in there, like so, and then your labels, they just go in like this with the label up. Clicky, clicky. Then the case goes back on. And then we power it up. Basically, you've got different modes. You can do all sorts with this. That's what I love about it. It's so versatile. So for example, you can do cable tag type labels. You can do the ones with the little dividers in, like with separators. So if you consumer units and stuff like that. Obviously you've got different sizes, text, all that kind of stuff. But for electricians, one of the real big benefits is for compliance, because you can actually print out some proper electrician labels. If you go on that one and you go down, you've got like datacom, audio visual, and then if you go on electrical, you've got all the different electrical symbols here. So that's quite useful. Well, what I want to show you is the app, which is really where it takes it to the next level. Right, so we've downloaded the Brother Pro label tool, and this is where this tool really comes into its own. So what you want to do is click connect. It'll ask to connect to local devices, and basically it's going to pick up the Wi-Fi network on this, hopefully. I think probably what we've got to do is press the Wi-Fi button on here. Go into menu, WLAN, network mode, direct mode. Yeah, so the Wi-Fi signal is flashing on here. Direct, yeah, here we go. So if I click that, and the password is 00000000. Join. And there we go, we are now connected. So if we go back to the app, refresh, there we go, we found our Brother label printer now. So we're going to click on that, and this is where the magic happens. So we've got all different types of labels here, super easy to see on the screen. So for example, if we want to do a cable flag, we can click on that. It's going to download all the different templates that we can use for cable flags. So you need Wi-Fi for this. You want to download the additional templates for the various things that you might use. So this is distribution board. You can also do patch panel. So if you are a data guy and you're doing patch panels a lot, that's a really handy one. Cable flags, got loads of different options for those. Safety signage, which is really cool. And this is something that will definitely be useful for us when it comes to doing solar and EICR labels and all that kind of stuff. You've got asset management, so if you want to label up all your tools and your screw boxes and things like that, or if you've got some kind of asset management system in place, you can do that. You can do tool ID, so you can label up your tools to say, oh, this is owned by Jordan Farley from Artisan Electrics, or whatever it might be. There is really a huge selection of different options, and heat shrink tube is a really good one, which we use quite a lot. So if I want to go and say make a cable flag here, just a normal cable, choose the type of tape that we've got. So we do have 12mm tape in there, so that's fine. And then you can just tap on here and change your text. So you can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, you can change the font. If I click on that and then just change this to cable, there we go. And then all I do is click print, and I can choose a number of copies as well if I want to do multiple copies. I can do auto cut or hand cut, and I'll talk to you in a minute about how to avoid wastage with this. So let's do auto cut for the moment. There you go, see the difference. So we do auto cut, and then you've also got options for special tape if you want to cut it manually with scissors. But we'll just do auto cut, half cut, cut at end. Boom. There we go. And there we have one cable flag ready to go. Now, all you do is peel that off, wrap that around your cable. Obviously you need some adjustment depending on the size of the cable, so this is for a pretty small cable. First thing we need to do before we select the size is we're going to turn off fixed length. So what that'll do is enable us to do whatever length we need. Then we can change the text by just double tapping on here, click and type whatever we want. So I'll just put cable 1 for the moment. And then what you want to do is just click on the whole thing and click the label, the flag there, and then you want to change this to the size of cable that you've got. So I've got a 15mm diameter cable. It's quite a thick, chunky EV Ultra cable, and you can see how that's adjusted now to make it longer. What we're going to do is we're basically going to use it to wrap around this, which is about 15mm diameter cable. So if I now click print on this, check that everything looks okay, click print, boom, there we go. We've got a nice long cable flag. Just peel that off and then we can wrap it around our cable like so. There we go, one cable flag. Probably the diameter of this cable is slightly larger than 15mm, but you get the point. It's very easy to change what size you want. So we can go, it can go all the way up to 999mm. So I could go 20mm, I could go 30mm, whatever I want, and it will adjust accordingly. It will just change the size of the label accordingly, which is really handy. Obviously you can change what label tape size you've got depending on what's in the cartridge, and the length, if you deselect fixed length, the length will adjust accordingly. So that's just one example. Let's try another example of some safety labeling. So for example, if we go into safety signage, let's say we want this one, which is to do with solar. Now it's telling us we need 24mm label in here. So what we'll do is we'll just take our 12mm tape out, like that, and we'll put our 24mm tape in. And yellow is obviously well suited for warning labels anyway, so that's ideal. All we need to do is basically, you know, we can move this around or whatever if we need to, but what we really want to do is just change the text there. So isolate on-site generator at inverter, isolator, and then isolate main supply at consumer unit. Right, we'll do that, and then we'll just click print, and we'll see how it comes out. Boom, there we go. So we've got a really nice safety label there, which can go next to our inverter or whatever. And it tells, you know, it's basically helping us to be compliant. And it's pretty handy because that means you don't have to keep all those different sheets of stickers on. And to be honest, what we have is we've got these stickers, but they don't have the writing on. So we either have to write it in pen, which looks awful, or we have to print out a label with the Brother label printer to stick on the other label to say inverter, isolator or consumer unit. This way you can do everything on one label with the 24mm tape, so it's really, really nice. I love it. Now there are so many other uses for this, you know, it's sort of endless, but I just want to show you one last use which is really handy that we use a lot, which is the consumer unit labels, the distribution board labels, because I think those are just an absolute game changer. And that's this one here. Obviously you can flip it round depending on which side your main switch is. You can do horizontal or vertical orientation of the text, but this is what you want. You want to do reverse, right? So if the main switch is on the right, you do reverse, it will do it like that, main switch, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And then here you can just put cooker, or you can even do like 1 at the top and then cooker, see, and then it'll center it. So then you can do 2 lights, 3, 4, 5. Right, so see that. Now the only thing about this is the text sizes are all different. We need to make them all the same size, but obviously the biggest we can do on this one is 8, so what I'm going to do is just select that and then make them all 8 so that they're all nice and uniform. So that's it. Then we'll just click print. Oh, the size of the media installed in the printer does not match the app settings. Oh, okay. So it's saying we've got 18mm tape, so we need to change that to 24. Boom. There we go. Lovely, neat setup for labeling your consumer unit circuits. I think it looks really slick, and it's a way to stand out from the competition as an electrician and do nice, neat consumer units. Obviously, there's loads of other functions of this, and I'm not going to go too much into depth on those. What I would say is make sure you use the Brother proper tape, because the knockoff stuff that you can get on like Amazon or eBay or whatever, it's just not the same. Especially the heat shrink tube. I'll do another separate video on that heat shrink tube because I don't have my heat gun with me today, but it's essentially the same idea, but you can print out heat shrink tube and then slide it over the cables. Really, really good idea. So I hope you've enjoyed this little run through of the Brother PT-E550W. If you want to get yourself one, there's a link in the description below where you can get one, and it does help support the channel. But either way, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.